Now, we've got special business bulletins for you for the next 3 days here, in fact, on France 24. We've let Stephen out of the studio for once. He's at the World Economic Forum at Davos for us. Stephen, hope you're keeping warm there.
Yes, Stuart, you've let me outside, but you have left me in the cold. Welcome to Davos for the 45th World Economic Forum, which gets underway properly today. We had the opening ceremony last night. The theme of this year's event is the new global context. Now, this, in the style of Davos themes, covers a whole range of events and of challenges being discussed by the some 40 heads of state and 1,500 chief executives who've come here to the Swiss Alps to discuss those problems. They're looking at a range of issues, including things like political unrest, climate change and cybersecurity. Coming up later today, we're going to be hearing also to do with the falling price of oil, of course, a major theme that we've been discussing on France 24 in recent months. We're going to be hearing from heads of the major oil companies, also the Nigerian oil minister, about how they're planning to deal and react with that. We've also got a special session later with the former US Vice President Al Gore and Pharrell Williams, who are going to be discussing climate change, one of those big issues on people's lips here in Davos this year. We're also going to be hearing from the Ukrainian President Petro Poroshenko, the Italian Prime Minister, the Turkish Prime Minister and the Chinese Prime Minister, and that's all just today on the first of these 4 days of discussions here at the World Economic Forum. So plenty of different themes on the agenda, but of course this is an economic forum. It is business leaders that dominate it, and to talk more about that, I'm pleased to say that we're joined by Isabelle Allen from KPMG, who's their Global Head of Clients and Markets. Isabelle, thank you for joining us again at Davos this year. All of those different themes feeding into a very different sort of atmosphere. How do you view this year's Davos?
Well, if you remember this time last year, what we were picking up is a fragile sign of renewed confidence in a post-crisis world. The economic uncertainties that have dominated the world from since 2007. What we're feeling at the start of these 4 days of discussion is a very different environment that business leaders are going to talk about, which we feel is dominated by geopolitical instability and uncertainty. This is top of mind for a lot of the CEOs that we talk to. If you think about their business and an increased globalization of the majority of supply chains in major sectors of the economy, any geopolitical unrest in one part of the world or another has a significant impact on the performance of their operations.
And let's talk about oil prices, of course, that thing that's a really major effect here. Are you seeing that affecting your clients, even those that aren't involved in the petroleum industry?
Absolutely. I mean, the impact of the reduced oil prices has got fundamental consequences on a lot of sectors. If you take the boom that relates to household expenditure being higher, disposable income for a lot of families are going to see their fuel bill for this winter just dropping significantly in a number of countries. That money we see already starting to be redeployed in travel, holiday, better shopping experience for the family. So all sectors of the economy are impacted by that major trend.
We've heard from Christine Lagarde and the IMF this week about how they've cut their global growth forecast. They say it's lopsided, it's brittle recovery. Is that reflecting what you're hearing from your clients?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we do feel some signs of confidence, and our latest M&A predictor is picking up a number of forthcoming deals, which is usually an indicator of the confidence that CEOs have in the future growth prospects for their operation. But as you say, the world environment remains very fragile and very unpredictable. And this opacity, when you stand at the top of a major global organization, is something that's very different to the sort of issues that's been top of mind for CEOs in the last few years.
Isabelle, let's talk briefly about some other subjects as well that I know that one's close to your heart. Female participation at Davos is very low again this year. We're talking about less than 20%. Is that important for you?
Absolutely. And what's disappointing for me is not only the female delegates number being so low, but also the topics around diversity really not making it into the mainstream agenda in the Davos discussions. And that's something that we're going to be following. We're following the social media activity in Davos in an aggregator tool that we've built. And we're pleased to see that the social media, what delegates are tweeting about, is picking up a lot of women topics. So it will evolve in the next 4 days, but clearly very close to my heart.
Okay, we'll be speaking more about that as well. Isabelle Allen from KPMG, thank you for joining us. That's all from Davos for now. We'll have plenty more, though, of course, throughout the day. Thank you for joining us, and back to you, Stuart.
Thanks very much, Stephen. Yes, as Stephen says, he'll have another bulletin in just under an hour's time. Good to get him out of the studio, isn't it? Good to see him there. I was going to say suffering in the mountainside. It is cold, but it is beautiful as well, isn't it?